Let's shift focus from politics to education, and violence in schools remains a huge concern, especially in the province of Gauteng, and that has prompted authorities in this province to conduct search and seizure operations at different schools earlier on today. We're joined now by the MEC for Education in Gauteng, Lebogang Maile, who was part of that exercise of conducting search and seizure operations. Good evening to you, MEC, and thank you for your time. My understanding is that your search and seizure operations were targeted this time around at schools in Carltonville and Orange Farm. Why schools in these areas? What prompted this focus on these communities? MEC, I suspect you may be muted. Yes, got you now.
Oh, but can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Please proceed.
I was not muted. Oh, yeah, thank you. Apologies for that. I was not muted. But yeah, so we have had meetings in the last 3 months when we came into office, and we conducted them under a theme titled "It Takes a Village to Raise a Child." We've had about 42 meetings with different stakeholders in all our 15 districts. A number of issues have been raised. But we also had an opportunity to make about 5 major policy statements. One of those includes violence and crime in schools, the issue of infrastructure and overcrowding and other issues. And in the meetings that we had, there were specific schools in every district that were raised as a point of concern because of violence and crime, ill discipline, and a whole range of issues. We made a commitment to the stakeholders that we will follow up on those schools, and we'll also follow up on some of the issues that they were raising related to learning and teaching. So this was part of the follow-up. And Batirile, for instance, in Gauteng, is a very notorious school. And we discovered when we got there that it's not just about violence and crime. There were about 5 teachers who do as they wish, who are ill-disciplined, who don't teach, who don't come to school. And when they come to school, they leave early. Or they go to a shebeen. There's even a petition by other educators about the conduct of those educators. What it means is that they overburden other educators with their responsibilities. What it means is that it contributes towards ill discipline in the school and all that. The school does not have a principal. There's other issues related to governance and all that. So we had to go to that school to not just see for ourselves, but to also act and immediately put to an end to lawlessness and ill discipline.
Yeah. MEC, in a way you preempt where I was going to go. I was going to lift up that school, Badirile High School in Gauteng. But now that you are there, are you able to talk to the characteristics that are a pointer to a school that will have problems with contraband in the school, with instruments of violence and drugs and just general violence in the school, and what happens with the management of the school itself? Because it sounds to me that there are elements that talk to just how the school is managed, supervised, and oversight is exercised over it.
You are absolutely correct. Firstly, the school does not have a principal. And in most schools where things are going right is because you've got a good principal. Secondly, you've got these educators who are a law unto themselves because there is no strong management, because there is no principal. It means the governing body is not as strong, but it doesn't mean that there are no good, committed, quality educators. In fact, it is these educators that have raised the issue. One of them came to our stakeholder meetings and pleaded with me to come to this school. And she's an educator. That's why we went to this school. So there is a lot of good things and good people, but they will not succeed if, as government, as parents, as communities, as the school governing body, we don't help them. But you are correct, because if there is no management, like in any institution where there is no leadership, you are bound to have a situation like this. Because if there was a principal, there's no way that teachers would have just absconded simply because they can, and with no remorse, with no shame, and they don't come to school, but they draw a salary at the end of the month.
So let me ask
month.
you, MEC, that surprise search and seizure raids are all good and well, quite effective, arguably for a while. But what's the overall plan for how to permanently remove the items of contraband that we've been showing in our visuals that came through from your raids today? What's the overall plan to remove weapons and drugs from schools in a more systematic and perhaps sustainable way?
Thank you very much for that question, because we've got a school safety strategy which has got 7 pillars, and we are reviewing it because there's a pillar that we want to add, and that pillar relates to using technology and artificial intelligence in the long run. But when you look at our strategy, it includes doing research on the extent of the problems in schools. It includes standardized school policy development and implementation, psychosocial support and promotion of alternative forms of discipline, advocacy programs, and then what we were doing today is one of the pillars, which is active law enforcement partnerships with SABC and the other law enforcement agencies, effective securing of the physical environment in the schools. And that's why beyond today, from tomorrow, we are reinforcing. Not that we have not been having people, we have been having patrollers there, but we are reinforcing them with traffic wardens who are going to be stationed in the school. We're going to make sure that we search everyone who comes into the school. And we have also agreed that the police visibility and presence will also be felt. But we also need to ensure that there is issues of occupational health and safety, the compliance. So we've got a plan which is comprehensive, and it's not just about going to these searches and seizures only, but we also want to deal. But whatever plan we have will not work without the cooperation of parents, without the cooperation of communities. Schools are...
Because of time, let me ask you quickly before we part ways about this incident that happened at the Michael Zulu primary school in Tsakane, where an educator was shot dead not far from the school. What do we understand happened in that instance, and what have the inquiries revealed up to this point?
Well, firstly, let's convey our condolences to the family, and we have issued a statement yesterday, and we did say that it was not the school, but the teacher was en route to the school. And at this point, we don't want to speculate because the police are seized with the matter and are investigating, and once they are ready, they will be able to brief us and the family. But it's unfortunate, and this shows that the issue of safety is not just about schools, it's also about our communities, because schools are a microcosm of society. Whatever happens in schools is a reflection of what's happening in society. That's why we must defeat crime as a society and not just leave it to schools, because then our educators and learners becomes vulnerable. So we must work with law enforcement agencies. We must support their efforts, and we must report crime, and we must not hide criminals, and we must not collaborate with criminals. We must do everything that we can to fight crime in our communities.
All right, let's leave it there for this evening. Thank you for your time. Lebogang Maile is the MEC of Education in Gauteng, talking all things school safety as well as one or two incidents that have occurred in and around the province.